Hello students, today we will do the ball poem. The ball poem, as it is clear from the name, this is a poem regarding a ball. Ball, the ball to be played. But the ball here is a word symbolic. It means ball is used as a symbol. Although the summary of the poem gives us the complete story how a ball is lost from a boy, but still the ball poem in the ball poem the ball is symbolic. Let's see. A boy loses a ball. He is very upset. A ball doesn't cost much, nor it is difficult to buy another ball. Why then is the boy so upset? Read the poem to see what the poet thinks has been lost, and what the boy has to learn from the experience of losing something. You know, the balls are always lost. There is a little boy who loses a ball while playing. The boy gets upset. He may be advised not to get upset because the other balls can be bought for him. He can have more than even one balls. But the boy is upset. But the loss of the ball tells the boy a lesson, gives up the boy a lesson, and the lesson is to learn the epistemology of loss, the loss of our possessions. It tells that we should be ready in life, that whatever are our possessions will never be always with us, and we must learn this thing. So this is the thing that the poet wants you to learn with the poem, the ball poem. So let's read the poem. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? It means a boy who has lost the ball, what will he do? I saw it go merrily bouncing. It is used for the ball. The poet says that I saw that the ball was merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over there it is in the water. It means the boy had the ball and he was going in the street with the ball, and the ball was merrily bouncing. It means the boy was bouncing the ball, but after some time the ball went into the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls, because the boy gets upset when his ball is lost. The poet says that there is no use if I say him that there are other balls also. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. Because of the loss of his ball, the boy gets rigid. He starts trembling and staring down the place where his ball went into the harbor. I would not intrude on him. The poet says that I will not intrude, I will not interrupt, because this way, with the loss of the ball, the boy is learning something. A dime, another ball is worthless. And he says that if it is said that the boy will get another ball, it is worthless to say, because the boy loves his ball and wants that only ball once again. So the other balls are worthless for him. Now he senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. World of possessions means whatever things we possess, we have a responsibility towards those things, and we must know how to take care of them. So with the loss of this ball, the boy is learning his first responsibility of possessions. People will take balls, balls will be lost always, little boy. Now the poet wants to say to the boy that boy, always the boys take the balls and they are got lost, and no one buys a ball back. The boy can buy the other one ball, but the same ball that was lost can never be bought back. Money is external. He says money can be used on all the things, even for buying the ball. He is learning well behind the desperate eyes. Desperate eyes means his sad eyes, because he is sad due to the loss of the ball. But in this sadness, he is learning something. And what is he learning? The epistemology of loss. Epistemology of loss means understanding the nature of loss. It means what it means to lose something. And it also tells one about taking care of the possessions. How to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know and must know many days how to stand up. This loss of ball is telling the boy the epistemology of loss means whatever possessions we have will be lost one day. We cannot have any possession for the whole life. This is the thing that the boy is learning from the loss of the ball. Now, I would like to tell you the summary of the poem. Yes, let's continue. The summary of the poem. Here in the ball poem. The poem talks about the miserable condition of a boy who has lost his ball. He does not know what to do because he feels grieved. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? He does not know what to do now because he is grieved, he is shaken and helpless. The poet sees the ball going down the street into the water. It seems to be rolling away and jumping into the water very happily, and unmindful of the boy had to bear the loss of the ball. The poet makes no efforts to console the boy. Here it is given, I would not intrude on him. So here what does the poet want to say? That the poet makes no effort to console the boy because he feels that there is no use trying to convince the boy, saying that he can get another new ball. He believes that nothing will pacify him as he seems to be overwhelmed with grief. But the poet says that with this loss, the boy is learning the epistemology of loss. He is learning the responsibility to take care of the things. The ball is something inexpensive and he could very well get another one. There are other balls. A truth of life has been experienced by him. And what is that? That the materialistic possessions means the things that we get in the life, the things that can be purchased with money. These are the materialistic things. That the materialistic possessions are quite often lost in life and they cannot be substituted. Money cannot bring the things back. It can only buy new ones to replace them, and no one buys a ball back. It means with money, the ball that was lost cannot be bought back. Instead, a new ball can be bought. So, the whole poem may be regarded as an extended metaphor, as the ball has been used as a metaphor for the materialistic possessions of a person, because the balls can be purchased, but here the poet wants to tell that whatever is lost cannot be purchased back with the money. So, it is used here as a metaphor. Now, what other literary device is used here? Look. I tell you, what is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? Two times. What is he to do? When there is repeated, then what will you say that what is used here? It is repetition, or you can say anaphora. When anything is used twice, when the same word is used twice to lay stress on whatever the poet wants to say, this is anaphora. Okay, let's come forward. Merrily bouncing down the street and then Merrily over there it is in the water. No use to say there are other bowls. An ultimate shaking, grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid trembling, staring down all the young days into the harbour where his bowl went. I would not intrude on him a dime. Another bowl is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility. Here he senses first responsibility. The losses of the bowl, but he is learning the responsibility to take care of the possessions. So, whatever is lost is the materialistic thing. So, metaphor is used. Then, in a world of possessions, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy. Look this line. Balls will be lost always, little boy. The sound B is used time and again. Balls, boys. So, when more than one time the same sound is repeated, same consonant sound is repeated, it is alliteration. So, in this line, what literary device is used? This is alliteration. Then, and no one buys a ball back. No one buys a ball back. Buys ball back. Again, the same sound is repeated thrice. So, what is used here? Again, this is alliteration. Okay, got it? Now, let's come to the rhyming scheme. Ball, go, then, water, bowls, boy. You see, how many lines we go on reading? Ball, A, go, B, then C, water, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. When this type of rhyme scheme is there, then this is known to be free verse. You will not write here the rhyme scheme A, B, C, D, but you will say that the poem is written in free verse. Clear? Okay, let's do the comprehension of the poem. So, let's start. The first question from the first stanza. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over there it is in the water. Now, the first question can be, what has the boy lost? So, the answer will be, the boy has lost his ball. And if the question is, how has the boy lost his ball? What will be the answer? The boy lost his ball while playing with it near the harbour. And when he bounced and rolled away into the water, when he bounced the ball, it rolled away into the water of the harbour. Okay. Now, what is the boy's state of mind? State of mind means what is the boy feeling now? The boy is in a very gloomy and sad state of mind. Okay, the boy is very gloomy and in a sad state of mind. In this stanza, who is I in the stanza? Look here, where is I? I saw it go. Who is I here? The poet. The poet. Name is Jones Barrymore is the poet, and you can say the poet is I in the stanza. The next question we can be, what did I see? The same I. It means the question can also be this way. What did the poet see? What did he see? Merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over there it is in the water. This is the things that the poet saw. So what will be the answer? The poet saw that the boy is rolling down the street and eventually falling out into the water. The poet saw the, or you can write it easily. The poet saw the boy merrily bouncing the ball and then the boy falling into the water. Next, what is the significance of repetition of the word what? Look here. What is he to do? This is the repetition. So what is its importance? Why is this used 2 times? The repetition of the word what shows the boy's utter helplessness and desperation. to show this that the boy is helpless and sad. Now, why has the poet used the word merrily twice in the stanza? Merrily over, there it is in the water, and before it merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily over, there it is in the water. The question is, why is the word merrily used twice? The answer can be, the poet has tried to capture the movement of the ball as it rolled down the street, so merrily emphasizes thought, contrast and sadness of the boy, because the poet saw that first the boy was happy, he was bouncing the ball, then he saw that the ball went on rolling and reached in the water. So all these things, to emphasize all these things, word merrily is used. Okay. Now from the same stanza, what is the first line refers to the boys? What in the first line is, what is the boy now who has lost his ball? In this line, question is, what in the first line refers to the boys? What was the thing with the boy? Ball. Answer is ball. Lost ball. Okay. The second question, I in the second line is, I saw it go. So I in the second line is the poet. The word merrily has been used to describe the ball. The ball ultimately fell into the water of the harbor. It is given there in the last. So its answer is harbor. Then come to the next stanza. No use to say there are other balls. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. Up to here we will take. And the first question is, why is it no use to say, oh, there are other balls? If we say, oh, there are other balls, then why is this thing not usable? Because the boy is so grief-stricken at the loss of the boy that he will not respond to anything of reasoning. The boy is so grief-stricken that he will not respond to anything of reasoning. Here is the expression ultimate shaking grief. Look, as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all the young days into the harbor where his ball went. But before that, an ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. What is the meaning of ultimate shaking grief? What is its meaning? Its meaning is that the boy is shocked at the loss of the ball and he feels that nothing can be more grievous than the loss that he has faced. Okay, the boy is so grieved that he cannot understand that anything can be more grievous than the loss of the ball as he has faced. What makes the boy rigid? What makes the boy rigid? What makes the boy rigid? His helplessness to find the ball again. Okay, the answer will be his helplessness at having lost the ball. Why does he tremble? Why does he tremble? Look, here it is. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down. So, why does he tremble? He trembles because of the utter grief that has overtaken him. The boy trembles because of the utter grief that has overtaken him. Next question can be, why is the boy staring down into the harbor? You know where did his ball? All his young days into the harbor where his ball went. So why is the boy staring down into the harbor? The boy is staring down into the harbor because his ball has gone into the harbor. Okay. Now, shaking grief. Which poetic device has been used? He stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbour where his ball went. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. Shaking grief. What poetic device is used? It is epithet, because the grief-stricken boy who shakes, not the grief itself. Who shakes, the boy or the grief? The boy. That is why here what is used? Epithet. What is the boy? What is epithet? Epithet is the poetic device when one thing is referred to explain the other one. Who was trembling? The grief was not trembling, but the boy was trembling. So, but here it is used that the grief, that the ball trembling. Ball was not grieved, the boy was grieved. So, epithet is used. And what does the ball symbolize in this stanza? I told you that this is a symbolic poem and the poet wants to teach the boys to understand the